So what would it be like if you worked out because you loved working out, simply because of how it made you feel? We often hear about how important motivation is in fitness. You've got to find your motivation, and then you got to keep motivated. So when you walk into a gym, one of the first things they'll ask you is, what brought you in today? Or what is it you want to change or transform about yourself? And what they're going after usually is one of these core desires, to figure out what your core driver is. And in fitness, it quite often has to do with, losing weight so that you can feel better about yourself, more attractive, find a partner, find love, or maybe overcome a health concern so that you can keep up to the kids longer, or maybe just to have more energy and feel better about yourself. And these are very strong reasons. They're reasons enough to drive anyone to do anything. And then the idea is you take that strong reason and you link it to working out, with the understanding that if you work out, you're going to get that original goal. And that's where motivation comes in. So motivation is that idea of keeping in the front of our mind that original driver, and then having that drive us to continue to work out. And then that's how we stay motivated. But in my opinion, and contrary to the conventional wisdom of the fitness industry, motivation's garbage. It's unreliable. It's weak. It breaks. If it was a good tool to use to hit our fitness goals, then everybody who had a strong desire, and that's all of us, would stay motivated and would see all the results that they're ever looking for. But motivation, it breaks apart. And part of the reason it breaks down is a lot of what people do to get fit is, it's repetitive or it's monotonous. It requires a lot of work and effort, and that work and effort and the repetitiveness of it ends up overriding that original desire. And then the link breaks. And it doesn't mean that the person no longer has the desire to transform their body. That's still there, but a desire to transform, a desire for change, is not a desire to work out. A desire to work out is a desire to work out. So then the question is, how do we get a desire to work out for its own accord? If we look at, sports, or if we look at kids who play in the park, or people that play in a team, they don't need motivation to do what they're doing. They're doing it because they're getting a different reward. They're getting a reward from the activity itself. So that's like kickboxing. Kickboxing in itself is a sport. It's a sport that's been vastly unavailable to the majority of people because the majority of people, they just don't want to get kicked. They don't want to get hit. They don't want the combat. But that's what 9-round is for. So 9-round's a way to train like a world champ, get fit like a world champion kickboxer without getting hit like one. And then it has all these different built-in rewards. So when you're learning a new technique and something that's quite complex, but you're able to do the very first time, like throw the kicks and the punches, but there's a form to it. As you go through, even that first workout, you're improving, and then you're noticing the improvement. You're noticing the improvement because the trainers are there helping correct the form, but the bag is giving feedback. As you kick, as you hit, you're noticing what you're doing, the speed at which you hit, how high you can kick. And then you're challenging yourself naturally to improve on that and to correct that. And that immediate feedback you're now getting from the bags, you're getting from the effort you're putting in, that immediate feedback is a reward for you. Not to mention that hitting and kicking stuff is infinitely more rewarding than, than riding a bicycle or a treadmill or a rowing machine or TRX or jumping on a box over and over again. And then that reward now ends up being the driver that gets you those original results. So people come into 9-round with those same goals, with those same fitness drivers. But now they don't have to keep themselves motivated to return because they're now coming back because they're getting something out of the workout in that very moment. And then what happens when you're working out in the moment and you're trying to accomplish something like you do in a sport when you're going after a ball or you're trying to score a goal, is you're preoccupied with the activity. And then the distraction's built right into the workout. You don't realize the amount of effort and energy you're putting into what you're doing until the workout's over and you're out of breath and you're like, oh my God. And that's the fastest 30 minutes of my life because you were present in that moment with that task that you were doing. And that's when you fall in love with working out. That's the holy grail of fitness. When you want to go back to the gym, not because you're going to trick yourself to getting the original desire and you're trying to link them and trying to stay motivated, but because you're now driven to. You have a one-to-one relationship with working out. You're motivated to work out. That's what we see with our members all the time. They come in, they have all these goals, and they quite often say, not only am I achieving the fitness and the weight loss, but I'm developing strength and confidence. I'm learning a new skill. A lot of them say it's the best part of their day, that they love working out, loving working out again. So I just want you to consider that if you've thought about 9-round or you weren't sure what it was, not sure if it's right for you, you know, most of our members have never tried kickboxing before, and they come in and they love it and they keep coming back because they're starting to develop a different relationship with fitness, with working out, and they're doing it just for the love. So that's why we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee with all of our memberships. No questions asked. We know you're going to love it. Get in touch with us, book your first workout, and I hope to see you in the gym soon.